Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. So today we're going to be making these bracelets, and the first one is these seed beaded bracelets. So I just have my elastic string and I'm just going to measure it to make it a little bit longer than my wrist size so that I have space to tie it. And then there I am cutting it, and then I put a clip on the back of it so that the beads don't fall off when I'm beading it. And then I'm going to take my choice of beads and string them onto the string in the pattern that I want. For this bracelet, I chose to do a pattern with 3 green and then a white and then 3 red and then a white and then so on and so forth. And I thought it turned out super cute, so here's me doing that. The background is just a piece of paper that I like to use because I don't like doing it on my carpet. That way I can find the beads more easy and they don't get lost in the carpet. So there's my bracelet that I finished, but I need to tie it before it's actually finished. So I'm going to take the elastic and make a knot and pull it so that the beads come closer together and then double knot it. I have a more detailed tutorial about this. I will put it in my description, and I will also put it in the info card if you haven't seen it already. If you're confused at all, I highly recommend go watching that video because it's explained a lot better. Anyways, you can add a lot more letter beads or anything else to personalize them and make them even more Christmassy. The next bracelet we're going to be making is this peppermint stripe bracelet. And I'm just going to be making it out of embroidery floss because I love making friendships with that string. I think it's the best for it. I will put a link to some that you can get in the description down below. I took a wingspan's length of the red string and a wingspan's length of the white string, and then I put them together and folded them in half, and then I tied the knot at the top so that it can go around a button when we finish the bracelet. That way it can close off and can be reused because we don't have to tie it together. Then I'm going to separate the strings into their colors. I did white and then red and then red. And then I'm going to be doing a forward knot on all of the knots. So basically I make a 4 shape and I pull the string through the loop from the other side. I have a more detailed video about this that I'll put in my description if you need. But then after you do that, you use the same string that you tied on the first one and you tie it on the red one. And then you use that string to tie on the last one. And you're going to do 2 forward knots on each string. That becomes your new last string, and this white string becomes your new first string. So you're just going to do that all over again, but this time you're going to be using the new string to tie on these last 3 strings, including the one you already tied with. So basically, you're just making new first strings and end strings. So now your new string is the red string, and you're going to tie that across all the strings. So I think you see the pattern. Basically, you just do that until the bracelet is the length that you want it to be. So here's a time lapse of me doing it, and you can just see that I'm just repeating it over and over again until you get to the length that you want it to be. You can also add other colors in. You can do this with green and white. You can do it with green, red, and white. You can add gold string in there too if you have it, and it would make an awesome Christmas bracelet. I like the peppermint look with the stripes because I think it's super cute and it kind of looks like I have a candy cane on my wrist, but you can do whatever you'd like with it. Here I am just finishing up the bracelet. After I did that last row, I just took one of the strings and I strung it through one hole of my button. I have a button with 2 holes in it. Then I took the other white string and I threaded it through the other side of the button, and then I just tied a double knot on that side, and then I cut those off. And then with the red strings, I didn't just want to cut them off immediately because I was worried the bracelet was going to fall apart if I did that, so I just did a double knot on the back side of the button, and it worked great, and it made it so that the button stays how I want it to. Then after that, you can just string the button through the loop. It might not be long enough to do it before you put it on, but I usually need help putting it on when I do it straight away, so I made mine a little bigger. The next and final bracelet we'll be making for this video is this cute wavy bracelet. So I'm going to take my embroidery floss once again. I just took a little bunch of strings that's long enough to tie around your wrist, and that was my base. And then I added a red string and a white string and a green string, and they were all about half of a wingspan's length for me. So then I took it and I did a backward knot with the red around the base string. On this bracelet, the base string is going to be the one that we're making all the knots onto, and then these other strings are the ones we're going to be tying with. So once I do 2 backward knots with the red, then I'm going to do 2 more backward knots with the white string. And it's important that you get the order correct on these ones if you want the white wavy thing to be in the middle. If not, then you can do whatever you'd like. But then after you do 2 backward knots with the white, you're going to do 2 backward knots with the green around the base string, and then we will go from there. After you get those, you're going to do a forward knot with the green string, actually 2 forward knots. So basically we're just reversing the process. So you just tied with the green string, so you're going to do it again, and you're going to do 2 backward knots and then place it on the other side out of your way. Then you're going to move on and do 2 backward knots with the white, and then move the white out of the way. And then after that, you'll do the red, and you'll do 2 backward knots with the red and put that out of your way. Basically, then you are going to just repeat the process. So doing 2 backward knots with the red, and then 2 backward knots with the white, and then 2 backward knots with the green, and then forward knots. And basically just alternating back and forth, kind of like the other one. You just repeat the pattern until the bracelet is at the length that you would like. Something else that is really cool about this bracelet is that it looks different from different angles. So looking at it from the front, it looks like a wavy pattern, right? But looking at it from the back, it actually looks like a striped bracelet with like curves coming out of the sides. Like, it'll make more sense when I show you the final product. You can look at the back. But I think it looks super cool because that way you can tie it either way and it looks like a different bracelet and it uses the same pattern. So here's me finishing up the bracelet, and it got a little bit short at the end, so you can make your strings a little longer than mine if you need to. So after that, I just attached it with clips for mine personally. Here's a group of some I did. As you can see, they look different from both sides, and if you make the strings long enough, you can just tie them together. And that's the final product. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have these cute bracelets that you can make for your friends or yourself now. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.